Hello and welcome to Thursdays, part 4. If you haven't watched any of the others, you might have no idea what I'm talking about. So feel free to go back and watch the other 3 videos and it will take you through this process. So I'm talking all about today about investing in yourself and who you want to be and making those moves that lots of people won't. Or they'll say, now's not the right time. I've had that so often with coaching clients. And sometimes, because I've been there as well, now is not the right time. Sometimes there are moments in life where something or someone is like, there's more pressing stuff going on. But sometimes there are moments where you're not taking the action because you're scared or you're fearful, or it feels out of your comfort zone. And getting to know exactly what's going on is always really useful. So to complete this series, today I want to talk about your future self and showing up for them and really being in alignment with where it is that you want to go. So number 1, if you didn't realize this, I'm sure you will on the surface level, but really think about it in detail and really think about what this means for you. The whole point of doing this work is so you move into that version of your life and business, your pick and mix, that is right for you. Ultimately, and I'm sure some kind of philosopher would have said it in a better way, but ultimately we are trying to get closer to that version of ourselves, that pure version of ourselves where we're like, this is me, this feels so good. And sometimes there's no sense, there's no explanation, there's no rhyme or reason, and yet everything in your being says yes. It's switched on, like yes, this is me, this feels good. Or sometimes you'll meet somebody and you're like, I've only met this person 12 minutes ago, but somehow we've had this profound connection. I remember having this really intense conversation with somebody at a bus stop once. So it can't have been that long because we have quite regular buses near us. And we both got on the bus together, but we didn't sit next to each other because the bus was busy. And afterwards, I felt so strange. And yet it would have been wrong to exchange numbers. And I never saw this person again, but I just thought that was such a lovely moment in time. What happens next? And many of us, when we are showing up for our hopes and dreams, sometimes on paper, the day-to-day, the schedule, the mental load that I've got to take the kids to school and pick them up and cook dinner and do all of the things, they are like the things that we can see. And so when we consider all of the other things that we want to be, do, have and feel, we're like, but how? Because these things are in place now. And sometimes we can do that with our mindset or the way that we're viewing things of like, yeah, but maybe I'm too old, or maybe that will never happen for me. And what we end up doing is putting these obstacles so they surround us and we can't get through them or beyond them. And so in terms of this future self, I want you to become profoundly aware of when you are on and when you are not. So that moment that, say you're following the sat-nav. The sat-nav is very happy when you are driving along the desired and the designated route. We're going to do this, and this is happening, and go to the roundabout, and second exit, and then go straight on, When you are deviating from that, the sat-nav goes wild. do this, take a turn, reverse, go round again, go back on your, it has that urgency of like, no, turn around. I want you to become aware, and if you need to re-watch Monday's video, do that. I want you to be aware of what you said you would be, do, have, and feel, and become aware in your present moment whether you are aligning up with that, whether you are on the path, being the person right now that's going to ultimately get you to that place that you want to get to. Number 2, keep connected to the big why and commit to the vision. This is hugely important, especially as I mentioned earlier, in busy lives, doing all of the other things. You have to have that belief and that connection to your big why, because it will get tough. It will get stretchy. It will require different things of you. It will require conversations that maybe you haven't had before. It will need you to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone and become a different version of you. Otherwise, well, people will say, what's got you here won't get you there. And I really believe in that. Obviously, we have all of these parts of us, this essence that can go with us every step of the way. But many people do not want to do the hard work. They give up so quickly. And sometimes it's because that vision is not clear and they're not committed to it. They hope that it will just turn up, or they'll manifest it, or whatever that kind of fluffy language is. But you have to have it in your mind's eye the whole time. I often think about this in terms of parenting, and of course I have no say really on who these children, my children, will be as adults. But always throughout, I've thought about who I'm trying to put into the world. How can I support them? How can I guide them through that? How can I allow them to have the tools within themselves to be self-sufficient, to know who they are, to be able to listen to all of these things? And that has meant that sometimes I have pulled my child away from something, even though all their pals are doing it, and going, I don't want you to do that. Because I don't, Anyway, this is all becoming about parent. But you know this thing of like, oh, kids are just kids, just let them trash whatever they want. I'm like, no, because that's somebody's business or somebody's cafe or whatever. And I don't want my child to grow up thinking that they can just go and trash other people's things. That took a tangent. Number 3, get so specific. So specific about what this picture of everything you want to be, do, and have is. So in terms of working with this commercial agent, and to go back to the headshots, I really became a student of adverts. What are the commercials that are shooting? What headshots really work well? What are the kinds of roles that women are being, how are they being portrayed at the moment? How is a mother represented on television? Like, I did all of that research to support the actions that I was taking. I didn't just go, right, well, I'm just going to go into this headshot shoot and just see what happens. And I think this is so easy to do because people get into this place of seeing what happens. And actually, it's about being clear about what this thing is. Step number 4, spot the gaps, mind the gaps, the limiting beliefs, the obstacles, the low-level thinking. If you have really big dreams, if you are running a marathon, for example, and you know that you have to get that 26.2 miles in your body in order to go through that finishing line and have that medal. You have to, on running day, figure out what's going to get in your way of actually completing the things. Now, there may be other things that you didn't think about, or injuries or other stuff going on. But with your goal, you have to become so aware of all of the parts of the journey, so conscious about it, because the temptation can be, oh, it's not happening quick enough. Oh, that went wrong. Maybe I'm not meant to do this. Maybe I'll look at it again after the summer. Maybe. Instead of saying, that didn't go well today because I didn't do the thing. Or I fall out of love with the big vision when I don't show up for it. I find things hard when I don't stick to the daily habits and make it a priority. Whatever it might be, you have to get to know yourself so well. And I know all of mine. Like for a long time, I wore all of these limiting beliefs, obstacles, like Scout or Brownie badges, all down my sleeves almost. And over time, what I've decided to do is to see if they'll start to peel off. Start to see if they'll peel off and just see what's on the other side of that. See if I can reframe it. See if there's a different way. See if there's a reinvention. See if there's an alternative. And sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's like, well, this is going to be tricky, or this is just the way that it is, or whatever it might be. But it's a really interesting one to spend time with. Number 5. We need those casual phrases in our life sometimes that maybe our parents said to us or we heard as kids, and maybe we just kind of discounted them or thought, oh, that's not for me. Those things of like, well, you may as well try. Or sometimes now what I do is I think about what I would say to my kids if they were coming to me in a similar situation. If they really wanted something and it wasn't happening quick enough, what would I say? And one of the things that has come up a lot with both of my children, and my nearly 9-year-old is really into, I know it sounds bizarre, but he's like really curious about self-development. If I ever share any tools or make suggestions, he's always got questions. He's just that curious kid. And I guess my 5-year-old by default is hearing all of this. And one of the conversations we've been having this week is about identity. I mean, obviously, like we watch telly and MasterChef and Strictly and have a lovely time as well. But one of the things that they were both saying was, I'll try and remember that. I'll try and remember that. And I said to them both, when you use really fuzzy language with your brain doesn't know what to do. So if you say, brain, I'm going to remember that, your brain goes, great, lovely. Yep, I need my PE kit on Tuesday or whatever it is. If you say, I'm going to try and remember, your brain is like, are we remembering it or what? What are we doing? Are we doing it? Are we not? Do you want me to give you another distraction? Do you want me to give you something else to think about? Do you want to be the person that remembers the things or not? What's going on here? And so this is one of the conversations that I've been having with my kids. That woolly language when you're so casual about things and becoming the person who does. I am the person that remembers my PE kit. I am the person that doesn't leave stuff behind at school or whatever it might be. You might be thinking, wow, this is quite a heavy conversation with your kids, but obviously I'm talking to you in this way, but I'm sharing much more of a kid version. Are you the person that shows up for your dreams? Are you the person who's going to go for it? Are you the person who is going to find your resilient point and work with it? Instead of just saying, like, I just can't do that. I'm not the kind of person to do that. I actually saw a post of Davina McCall the other day, and she was sharing her outfit things. And the comments underneath were quite extraordinary and quite telling about the people who were doing it. So many backhanded compliments like, well, it's all right for you, Davina, that you look good, but don't get too thin because, well, if I did this. Or one of the things that came up a lot was, if I had the motivation like you, I would do something. And like I was mentioning with language, we have to explore it all, because motivation isn't something that just appears like magic. It's something that we build. It's like muscle. It's a muscle that we build every day. How can I build this motivation muscle? Well, by doing it. That's the only way. That's the only way forward. I hope this series has been enlightening and interesting and great for you. And I'll see you next time. Lots of love.